All right, y'all, this is a new SEC podcast. You're tuning into a preview of Kentucky traveling to Auburn to take on the Auburn Tigers. 7:30 p.m. Eastern, SEC Network. Right now, Auburn's favored by 10.5. This might be one of their largest spread win totals to the season outside of their G5 competition. And the over-under is 46.5. Both these teams looking to, one, continue to win, start another win streak. And obviously Kentucky looking for their first SEC win. So Hunter, thoughts on this matchup and what it means for both teams?
Look, before the season started and all of this, I thought this was going to be one that would potentially be Auburn's first SEC win if they didn't win at Arkansas. But since they did, this would be their second SEC win. Kentucky didn't look that bad against Tennessee last week offensively, because that's been the biggest critique of Kentucky, is that the offense couldn't get going. Cutter Boley, 5 touchdowns last week. Tennessee is a little bit more susceptible to that on defense than Auburn is. But now, maybe it opens some questions like with that. I'll say right off the rip, I do like Auburn in this game. So, don't get it twisted. But I think maybe now there's something to talk about. Like, do you look at Kentucky differently after last week?
I definitely look at Kentucky differently, but I also look at it from a lens of someone who's watched a lot of SEC football and is aware of how bad Tennessee's defense is. Did not think that they were going to play that bad to give up 5 touchdowns to Kentucky. And you could call that a dig at Kentucky, but we've seen what they've been able to do offensively all season. And they've played some okay defenses. The second worst defense they played was Ole Miss, scored 23 points. So I was surprised they got 5 touchdowns. I was thinking they would get like 2 or 3.
Yeah. I thought they would put up points. I just didn't think it would be to that extent. Now they still got dogged defensively. Like Tennessee still did a really good job of that. So we know there's opportunity for that to happen in this one. On the flip side now, looking at Auburn, they have some drama now around the program when it comes to the quarterback situation, where Jackson Arnold was not necessarily looking that good against Arkansas. After the pick 6, they started making a change. We had been wondering when it was coming and who it would be. Would it be Deuce Knight? Would it be Ashton Daniels, the transfer in? Ashton Daniels comes in, does pretty well. Like he wins the football game. He did better than Jackson Arnold did on the ground. He did pretty, good in the air as well. They haven't made a comment yet on who starts this week. Who do you think, like, who would you go with if you were Auburn?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough call for Auburn, or it feels that way. I think just the energy the team had when Ashton Daniel went on the field and just kind of offered a fresh perspective. He had 35 rushing yards. I think he had 77, passing yards and a 9.6 yards per catch or per pass completion percentage. Like, the ball was getting thrown downfield. And I think I would go with Ashton Daniels, because to this point, he gives you more of a spark to potentially see more than what you've seen this season. And I think Kentucky is the perfect opponent to test against around what will our offense look different in the sense of for Auburn. What about you? Who would you go with?
It's a lower risk opportunity to start someone, where I feel like even in the Arkansas game, with the conversations around coaching and Hugh Freeze and needing an SEC win, you don't want to make that initial jump into a new guy, because if it doesn't work out, you don't want to then put Jackson Arnold into the game down 10. So I think that in this one, it gives an opportunity for Ashton Daniels to come into this game and start this game potentially at a lower risk opportunity. I would probably start Jackson Arnold just because it was a bad performance. I think that he's maybe a bit better than the performance this season has been.
I don't agree with that. Like, I don't like because it's like, what are you protecting yourself from? Like, if you're 1-4 in the SEC, it's a portal era where players come and go. You're probably in the air on your coach. Like, you might as well figure out what you got in the room. Like,
yeah,
unless you worry, like, and it's like, unless you're worried about Jackson Arnold leaving you, why not see what you got in the quarterback room?
Yeah, I think it's because I see those glimpses from Jackson Arnold of doing things. Like Cam Coleman, great catch on that touchdown at the beginning. It was a well-placed pass. Like, and then you see him take off and for a 30-yard run or something, and you're like, oh, this guy's got it.
Yeah.
And then he just plays the worst game for the rest of the game. So it's I think that there's potential for him that just hasn't come out, but in a lower risk situation, I do think that Auburn wins. You know, they're over a 2-score favorite, a 2-score favorite in this one. I could see either guy coming out there. Um, I don't think that Auburn's defense provides that same luxury to Kentucky to where
No.
Kentucky's going to be
Uh,
able to do what they want to do, and that's the tell in this game where I don't think that there's a one or other quarterback for Auburn that has a better shot at winning in this game. I think that no matter what, Auburn's defense is stout enough to hold Kentucky to maybe even potentially just field goals here.
Yeah, Auburn has a top 4 defense in the SEC right now, and so I think the defense will very much control this Kentucky offense. And I think Auburn's offense to me is the only they get in their own way, and so this game is a good opportunity. Not saying this Kentucky defense is a slouch, but it's a good opportunity to kind of see if Arnold's going to be your guy going forward, what you really have with him, and if it takes putting in Ashton Daniels to win the game, you could put him in. You could start with Ashton Daniels. But it's really, to me, this game is more about looking at what do you have in the room with you for Auburn and for Kentucky. Like, not to downplay them, they're playing to win too, and they are coming off of an emotional high, maybe a moral victory, scoring 33 points against Tennessee, a potentially playoff team. And so, don't get me wrong, no sense in getting this twisted, but I am picking Auburn in this game. I do think it's a little bit closer than necessarily a 10.5-point spread, but I'm going to say 17-8 in this game.
All right. I'm going to go 24-9. I think as long as Auburn scores more than 10 points, they win this game. I don't see Kentucky driving the length of the field against this Auburn defense that's done pretty well on both sides of the ball. Even to a really, really good Arkansas offense, they did all right to hold them to 24, which is pretty low scoring for them. But, Auburn fans, Kentucky fans, let us know what you think about this game. Kentucky, are you feeling a little bit better about your team after last week? And Auburn fans, who do you want at quarterback? Is it one of these two guys? Do you want to burn a year of Deuce Knight and put him in the game? We appreciate you being here. Hit that subscribe button, like button. I'm Hunter Ziesman, joined here by Randall Adet Jr. As always. We talk SEC football, so don't miss it. And thank you for tuning in.